Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Monica and Aulia. How are you today?
Good, sir.
I
I'm
am
fine.
fine.
Sir.
Okay,
I'm fine.
very good. Okay, before we start our lesson today, let's recite Al-Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so our topic today is about narrative text. Okay, have you heard about narrative text before? Monica and Aulia, do you know or have you studied narrative text before? I think when you were in junior high school, you studied already, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, narrative text, what is in your mind when we are talking about narrative text? Imaginative story in the past, right? So we are talking about imaginative story. So the story, a fictive story that happened in the past, right? All right, well, actually it can happen in the narrative text, like a personal narrative. It can be something happen in nowadays, like a recent story, ya. Cerita baru yang berdasarkan pengalaman kita atau story in our life, daily life can be too, which is called as a personal narrative. All right, before we go further, I'd like to introduce you the objective of our learning today about this topic today. At the end of the presentation or the end of the class, then you will be able to identify the social function and the structure of narrative text. Okay, and then also you will be able to discover the detailed information presented in the narrative text. The discover detail, you will find the detail or the specific information that you read in the narrative text. And you will be able to state the main ideas of the paragraph in narrative text. What are the main ideas of the paragraph in narrative text? Normally, you will find this such a question when you are doing the exam. Yeah, what are the main ideas? What is the main idea? What is the detailed information? That is very common in exam, yeah. And then also, the last but not the least, you will be able to create or to write a narrative text, yeah. Probably by arranging a jumbled paragraph or paragraph which is not in the right order. Okay, so these are the objective of learning this topic. Right, we're gonna start with this one. Have you ever heard about this story? What kind of story is this? Do you know this story? Between monkey and a princess or a beautiful girl? Have you heard this story before? You know the story?
I'm forget, sir.
You forgot. Okay. You know Lutung Kasarum? Lutung Kasarum?
I remember, sir.
Okay. This one probably about Lutung Kasarum, right? Okay. How about this story? I think everybody knows this story.
Sangkuriang, sir.
Is it Sangkuriang? Is it Sangkuriang?
Maling kundang, sir. Sorry.
That's right. That is Maling Kundang. Right. All right. Aulia Rahman, do you know this story, Aulia? Have you read Maling Kundang story, Aulia Rahman?
I'm forget, sir.
You forgot. Okay. Maling Kundang is a very famous story, right? Okay. And how about this one? This one. Number 3.
Snow White, sir.
Snow White. Very good. Yeah. The Snow White and the dwarf. Yeah. The dwarf. The kurcaci. Yeah. And what about this one? The last?
Cinderella, sir.
Cinderella. How do you know this is Cinderella?
I know the story, sir.
Okay, you know the story, and then it looks like a Cinderella, right? It's like a princess, right? Do you think this kind of story is kind of narrative text? Yes or no? Is it an example of narrative text or not? Yes or no? Do you think those stories kind of narrative text or not? Cinderella, and then Snow White, Lutung Kasarung, and then Maling Kundang. Do you think this is kind of narrative text? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do you think it's a imaginative story or not? You know,
Yes, sir.
imaginative story, imajinasi, story yang berdasarkan atas imajinasi. It's not the real one, but it's imaginative. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, right. Okay. Can you tell me, besides this, example of narrative text? What are example of narrative text? You know, narrative text can be like this one. So, okay, before that, we can talk about the social function of narrative text. What is the social function of narrative text? Okay. Oh, the social function of narrative text is to entertain. Yeah, to entertain. You know, entertain? What does it mean, entertain? To amuse. Yeah, to amuse. Untuk menghibur ya. When you are reading a kind of the story of Maling Kundang, the story of Cinderella, you feel entertained or not? Merasa terhibur nggak? Ya, Monica and Aulia. When you are reading Maling Kundang story, Cinderella story, do you feel entertained or not? Kamu merasa terhibur nggak?
Yes, sir.
Ya, if when you are reading a novel, kamu merasa terhibur nggak? You feel bored or you feel entertained?
Feel entertained, sir.
Yeah, you feel entertained. You
Boring,
don't
sir.
feel bored. You don't feel bored. Kita nggak merasa bosan. But even sometimes when you are reading a novel or this kind of story, your mom asks you to eat lunch, but you skip your lunch. No, I want to finish the story. I don't want to eat lunch now. Why? Because you feel entertained when you are reading the story. Yes, kita merasa terhibur ya, bahkan so we don't want to stop ya, until we finish the story. Okay, and also it teach people the moral lesson with the story. I mean the story has a moral lesson. Yeah. When you are reading Maling Kundang, do you find the moral lesson there? Ada
Yes.
moral, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the moral lesson of Maling Kundang? What is the moral lesson of Maling Kundang story? Apa nilai moralnya? When you are reading Maling Kundang story. Kira-kira apa? We have to respect our mother, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to take care of our mother. Yeah, no matter how poor is he or how old is she, yeah, and then how rich you are, how handsome and how beautiful you are, your mother is still your mother, and then you have to respect and take care of your mother. Okay, this is the moral value. If you do not do that, you will be a bad son or a bad girl, a bad daughter, because we don't, our parent does not need too much. You know, your parent, your mother especially, give a birth and then born you, and then feed you, and then look after you. That is hard work to do, yeah. But when in her age, when she's getting older, and then it will be your turn to look after your mom or your mother. Okay. Okay. Next is the language features when you are writing what is that narrative text. What are the language features involved? Apa nih ciri-ciri kebahasaan daripada narrative text? Ya, we have to use adverb of time, keterangan waktu ya. And then conjunction is kata penghubung, simple past tense. First we have to use simple past tense or past continuous tense. Okay, so what is narrative text? Like we said in the beginning, narrative text is a text that tells about an imaginative story in the past. And the social function is to entertain or to teach people moral lesson with a story. Okay, here are the example that can be categorized as narrative text. Jadi apa saja sih yang bisa dikategorikan sebagai narrative text? Okay, for example like legend. Yeah, what is the example of legend? Cerita legenda.
Malin kundang, sir.
Maling kundang, that's right. Okay. Number 2. What's number 2? Number 2 is folktale. You know folktale? What is folktale? Cerita rakyat, ya. What is the example of folktale, cerita rakyat?
Lutung Kasarung, sir.
Yeah, that can be Lutung Kasarung, is cerita rakyat. Okay. Okay, and then like in Sumatra, like Lake Toba, ya, Samosir, right?
Yes, sir.
Myth, mythos, myth. What is it? Myth, yeah. Not mythos, but myth, yeah. Okay, and then number 4, it can be a fable. You know fable? What is fable? Cerita apa itu fable? Like a monkey and crocodile. It's a fable, yeah. Monkey and crocodile. When monkey want to cross the river, it's between monkey and a crocodile. Is an example of fable. Okay. And then fairy tale. Example of fairy tale. Can you give me an example of fairy tale? Fairy, cerita yang ada peri-perinya.
Cinderella, sir.
Cinderella can be. Okay, very good. Right, and etc. Okay, and then you can find others. Right, these are types of narrative text. Okay. Okay, now before we go further, I'd like to give you some of the vocabulary. Look at the vocabulary here. Okay. I'm gonna start with weak. Do you know what does it mean weak? Anybody knows weak? I mean, oh, my body is so weak today. I'm not feeling very well. What does it mean? Lemah. Yeah. Lemah. Not lemak, but lemah. I have no power. It means I am weak. Weak is adjective. Okay, kata sifat. And the next is generous. Do you know what does it mean, generous? Generous means is if I have in your village, for example, there is a rich man, and then he gives so many charity to other poor people. It means he is a generous person. What it means generous?
Dermawan, sir.
Dermawan, very good. That's right. Okay, and the next is shelter. Shelter. Do you know shelter? When it's raining, I need a shelter, a place to shelter. What does it mean shelter here? Raining very bad, very big. You are on the street and then you find a shelter so you don't get wet. What does it mean shelter here? Tempat berteduh. Ya, tempat berteduh. Okay, the next is remind. If you forgot something, I will remind you. Make you remember.
Mengingatkan, sir.
Ya, mengingatkan. Very good. That's right. And then the next is mortar. 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 What is it? Mortar. Mortar means lesung. Yeah. Pounding. Pounding is a word. Is a verb actually. Pounding. Menumbuk ya. Bukan menumbuk menunjang. No, menumbuk padi is a pounding. Yeah. Mocking. Yeah, mocking. You know mock. You stop mocking me. Yeah. What does it mean mocking? Mock me. You mock me. When you are walking or passing by somewhere and then people say, hey, ugly man or ugly girl, a fat girl, so it means she is mocking you. What does it mean mocking you? Mengejek.
Mengejek.
Yeah, mengejek. Okay, and the next is dumbfounded. Dumbfounded. What does it mean dumbfounded? It means you are speechless. Ya, dumbfounded is terheran-heran, terkesima, ya, tercengang. It's dumbfounded, like a speechless, yeah. And then spout. Spout meaning is water is spouted. Menyembur. Before the last, flood or flood. How do you say this one? Flood or flood? This word, how do you pronounce?
Banjir. Banjir, sir.
Yeah, how do you say this? Flood or flood or flood?
Flood. Flood or flood?
Ah,
No.
flood, flood or flood? We say flood.
Flood.
Flood. We
Flood.
say flood. Flooding. Flooding. Yeah. Flood. And then the last is huge. You don't say who, but huge. What does it mean huge here? Very big. Huge meaning is very big. Yeah. It is
Sangat
very
besar,
big.
sir.
Yeah, very big. Yeah, huge. Yeah. Okay, this vocabulary that you will find in the next text in this story. Okay. Okay, here is the story. Okay, have you read this story before? Have you read this story before? Not yet. Okay, then I will read it for you. Okay, and please listen carefully. I would like to
Okay,
invite you to read actually, but unfortunately, I'm afraid the time is not enough. So I'm going to read for you. The Legend of Rawa Pening. Once upon a time, there was a little poor boy came into a little village. He was very hungry and weak. He knocked at every door, knock, 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 and asked for some food. But nobody cared about him. Nobody wanted to help the little boy. Nobody wanted to help. Finally, a generous woman helped him. Generous woman finally helped him. She gave him shelter. You remember what does it mean shelter? Apa artinya shelter? Tempat berteduh. Ya.
berteduh.
Ya, tempat berteduh. She gave him shelter and a meal. Meal, what does it mean meal? Food, yeah. Food. When the boy wanted to leave, this old man gave him a lesung, a big wooden mortar for pounding rice. She reminded him, please remember, if there is a flood, you must save yourself using this lesung as a boat. The boy was happy and thanked the old woman. He continued his journey. The boy was happy and thanked the old woman. He continued his journey. While he was passing through the village, he saw many people gathering on the field. The boy came closer and saw a stick stuck in the ground. A stick stuck nancep ya di tanah. Ada tongkat nancep di tanah. People gathering on the field, and the boy come closer and saw the stick stuck in the ground. Jadi dia pun mendekat dan melihat ada tongkat tertancap di tanah. People challenge each other to pull out that stick. Jadi orang-orang saling berlaga, saling menantang masing-masing ya untuk siapa yang bisa mencabut daripada tongkat itu di tanah itu. Everybody tried, but nobody succeeded. No one successful. No one is successful. And then, can I try? Asked the little boy. Can I try? Asked the little boy. The crowd laughed mockingly. Ya, the crowd, orang-orang yang berkumpul itu laugh, tertawa dengan mengejek. The boy wanted to try his luck, so he stepped forward and pulled out the stick. He tried to pull out the stick. He could do it very easily. Everybody was dumbfounded. Jadi orang-orang tercengang because the boy can pull out the stick. Suddenly, from the hole left by stick, dari lubang airnya telah tercabut the stick, and then there is a hole there. Water spouted out. What does it mean spouted there? Air menyembur, ya keluar. It did not stop until it flooded the village. Yeah, and no one was saved from the water except the little boy and generous old woman who gave him shelter and milk. As she told him, he used the lesung as a boat and picked up the old woman. The whole village became a huge lake. It's now known as Rawapening Lake in Salatiga, Central Java, Indonesia. Right, so this is an example of what is that narrative text. Can you find here the orientation? So remember the generic structure of narrative text. There is a generation orientation, complication, and resolution. Yes or no? All right, so it's divided into three. Number one is all right, introduce the characters and inform about time and place. This is the first paragraph. Yeah, this is the first paragraph. And then what we call the first paragraph, what do we call? Introduce the characters and inform about the time and place. What do you call that? Orientation, sir. Orientation, that's right. So now that tells the problem of the story and how the characters solve them. What do you call this when the problem of the story?
Climax, sir.
Yeah, it is called complication, yeah. Complication, yeah. And then the last, the solution. The problem of the story is solved for better or worse. Yeah, it's called resolution. So there is orientation, complication, and resolution. This is the generic structure. So if you want to know what orientation is, introduce the characters and inform about time and place. Okay, if you look at this, is it telling the characters and inform about time and place or not in the first paragraph? Yes or no? Apakah dia memperkenalkan karakter? Karakter itu partisipal siapa yang aktor pemeran di situ siapa aja? And inform about the time?
Yes, sir.
Inform about the place?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So this one, so you agree this is an orientation, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, very good. And then complication tells the problem. There is a problem here or not? In the second?
Here, yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So it can be complication. There is resolution here or not? Problem the story solved for better or worse. Problemnya itu sudah dapat pemecahannya. Pemecahannya bisa baik, bisa buruk. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So that can be resolution. Okay. So just want to remind you once again, narrative text consists of orientation, complication, and resolution. A narrative text usually have something that we can learn, or what we call a moral story. At the end, we will find what is the moral story or the value of the story. Okay, now before we close the presentation today, so can you arrange this following sentence? This sentence is jumble sentence, jumble paragraph, nggak beraturan. So you have to put in the right order. Who are following us today? Monica, you still there?
What, sir?
Okay, Aulia Rahman still there or not?
No,
Aulia,
sir.
no? So who are there?
He,
Only you?
yes, sir.
Okay. Can you arrange this following sentence? Bisa nggak kamu yang mana yang pertama, yang duluan? First is number one is this one. It was a bright sunny morning in Thailand. Okay. And number two, this one. Bumpy dog was playing with a stick in the garden. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then number three, but
But they were busy.
they were busy. It was a bright sunny. It was bright sunny morning in Thailand. A bumpy dog was playing in the stick in the garden. Okay, number three. Which one is number three? This one. He asked everyone to play with. Yeah. But number four. But they were busy. No, yeah. But they were busy finding the missing tools. Yes. This one. And then the next is Bumpy dog wanted to help. Yeah, Bumpy dog want to help. And then this one, his effort just made them angry. Yeah, and then the next is this one. He brought the cans that were dropping from Nodi's car. Yeah, he brought the cans that were dropping from Nodi's car. And then
Nadi felt sorry, sir.
no, but Nodi thought that he stole them. Yeah, and then yang mana yang belum?
Nadi felt sorry.
No. This one. Then Mr. P plot came to explain everything to Nodi. Kan dia dituduh mencuri, tapi Mr. P datang menjelaskan everything to Nodi. And then Nodi felt sorry and bought a bone to Bumpy dog. Okay, so this is the story actually. It was a bright sunny morning in Thailand. Yes. And then he asked everyone, Bumpy dog was playing with a stick in the garden. He asked everyone to play with, but they were busy finding the missing tools. Bumpy dog wanted to help. His effort just made them angry. He brought the cans and that were dropping from Nodi's car, but Nodi thought that he stole them. Then Mr. Plot came to explain everything to Nodi. Nodi felt sorry and brought a bone to Bumpy dog. Okay, right. So if you can find the orientation and complication and then the resolution here, I believe you can find it, right? All right. Because of the time, we can't. We are the end of our meeting today. And Monica, I hope you are learning. I hope you keep learning and then reading your lesson. Okay, if you have a problem, feel free to ask me. Yeah, feel free to ask. And then please check also the Schoology. There you have a lot of quiz and then assignment there or exercises there. Okay, I think that's
Okay, sir.
all. Okay, I think that's all for today. We close our lesson today by reciting Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much for joining our class today and have a nice day. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.